What's up, everybody? This is yours truly, Mr. Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson, and I am very happy. I'm excited and delighted to be here with you guys to share information that is going to prove beneficial. And we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to actually talk about fat-burning meals. We're going to actually go into great detail on how to make fat-burning meals and lose weight and improve health. Like all of the intricate details of it, we're going to talk about it. So if you have questions about how to make fat-burning meals, if you work with myself or you work with my partner in crime today, Ms. Lisa Marie, or you work with any of our coaches, if you have questions about nutrition, specifically about how to make fat-burning meals, then we are here to help you with that. And it's going to be interesting because, well, let's just get into it. You know what I mean? Let's just get into it. Let me bring on Lisa Marie. And let's see here. Where is Lisa Marie? There she is, everybody.
I'm here. How are you?
Well, I'm playing with some new little toys. As you can see on the screen, I'm just kind of playing with some different things, and having some fun. So I'm multitasking as we do this show. And as I shared with you before we came on, I just want to have fun with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about the simplicity of how to eat to both lose weight and how to improve health.
Yeah, let's get to the basics.
Yeah, I mean, like the real basics. And so I
Mhm.
want to set it up by kind of tossing this to you. And for
Okay.
those who are listening, I want you guys just to hear me on this. We've had diets really since the beginning of time, or once people realized they wanted to feel better and they weren't feeling better, or maybe they wanted to look a little different. Nutrition played a role, exercise has played a role. So there is no secret there. And there's always these things that are trending, different ways of eating, because people want to lose weight, right? So if you go back to 1960, when 13% of the population was considered obese, today you have well over 40% are obese, and we're just talking about the United States. That right there just proves without question that even though we have all these different diets, different ways of eating, all these different grocery stores, all these different ways of getting healthier, people talk about getting healthier, people joining gyms, all of this talk, each and every year, we continue to gain weight. So I could have stopped right there. Because to me, Lisa, that is an example that they're putting something in food,
Mm-hmm.
which could be part of it, that's causing us to gain weight, or we just don't know how to eat.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how to eat something that's really simple, and something that anyone who stays with us on this is going to walk away with a better understanding of how to lose weight and how to improve health. So
All right.
I'm giving it to you. What do you think of my opening and what I want to talk about today?
I love talking about creating fat burning meals. I love it. Because it's so easy. Like once you know it, you know it. So it doesn't you just, there's no diet. You know it and you either do it or you don't. But you can go anywhere, you can be in any situation, you can be around any type of food, and you just know how to create a fat burning meal and enjoy it.
Okay, I mean, yeah. So if it's that simple as you and I are saying, why is it that everyone's not doing it?
I have no idea. Um, I don't, you know what? I think there's so many different, people listen to so many different um there's so many different diets, there's just so much information, and somebody here, somebody's doing this, and I'm just going to jump on that. But I mean, in reality, they're missing that educational point on how to eat and how you can combine those foods to work for you and not against you. And a lot of those diets don't share that. Um,
Okay.
I don't know. How did that sound?
No, I mean it all sounds good. It's just it's really interesting, and it's a good time to do this because one, let's I'm gonna give an overview of what a fat burning meal is, and then I want to go back and I want to talk about maybe spend 5 minutes on each one of these topics. But one of them is why would someone not do what you and I teach people to do?
Okay.
Like I have a whole bunch to say about that.
Okay.
Okay, because that we're getting into the psychology. It's kind of like not to scare anybody, you guys, but let me just give a political example. Um, if you hate Trump, if someone hates Trump, and there's something about Trump that would benefit them from knowing, and it may change their mind, and you can say the same thing for Biden. There are some people that don't want to know. They rather not know. And they want to just kind of stay in alignment with what they believe they know. And we'll go into that when it comes to nutrition because I see it all the time.
Yeah.
That being said, a fat burning meal, you guys, there's psychology with this, right? So we call it a fat burning meal so you can identify what it is that you're putting together when you eat it. So a fat burning meal is one thing, and then you have a fat storage meal, which is the total opposite. So we teach people how to make fat burning meals, and it really just comes down to this, and that is combining your foods properly. That means all these different foods you're going to put on a plate, which we'll give you examples. It's in a certain combination, and portion size does matter, right? So I know I can eat regular pizza, but I'm not going to eat a whole pizza and still be able to lose weight. But I can still eat pizza and lose weight. I know that if you get a burger and you want it to be a fat burning meal, a burger by itself would be a fat burning meal, right? You have your protein in the form of, let's say, a hamburger patty. I mean, it could be fish, it could be tofu, a whole bunch of different things, but you have your protein. The top and bottom bread would be your fast carb. And then inside of that burger, where you have tomatoes, if you like tomatoes, onions, pickles, all those other things, lettuce, that makes up what we call a slow carb. Then you have a fat you could add to it, like avocado, mayo, and condiments, mustard, ketchup, A1 sauce. And that's a fat burning meal. If I ate that meal, bread included, with French fries, that would be a fat storage meal when you don't know what you're doing. It could be what we call a boost meal. So I know a lot of these terms are new to some of you who are listening in. Just stay with us. At the end of the day, a fat burning meal is learning how to eat your foods in the right combinations and in the right proportions. You want to add anything to that, Lisa?
It's easy, so easy peasy. It
So,
sounds so easy, right?
and we both know it's easy, right?
It is
So
easy.
I
Yeah.
like to say that if you're listening to my voice, if you're hearing this conversation and you have weight you would like to lose, and you don't reach out to Lisa or me, you really are choosing not to be successful. And that's not to beat anybody up. That's just a hardcore fact, and I can back it up, right? You could back it up. We've
Mhm.
had thousands of people do this, and we continue to have thousands of people eating regular, everyday food and being able to not only lose weight but improve health.
Mhm.
Now, I would first throw out before we go into like why would someone not do it, and I believe sharing it that way would help a person realize what they could do, right, or how they could think differently so that they could learn how to eat and make a fat burning meal.
Okay.
Um, So my mom is sick today, and she's not feeling very well. So I reached out and we usually have a family gathering. I said, hey, instead of us doing that, just everybody listen to me and Lisa. We're gonna go on YouTube, um, and we're on Facebook also, but YouTube, you can subscribe and you can catch it there. You can even watch the replay. My mom says, well, I don't feel like spending any money right now. So I'm like, spending money on what? So in short, as my mom would say, she's old school. She thought if she went to the YouTube channel that she was gonna have to pay.
Oh.
Now there's a lot of people, Lisa, because we're so advanced and the kids are so ahead with the TikTok and all the social media. But there are still a lot of people who do not know how to navigate social media.
Social media. Mm-hmm.
So what you and I would say is obvious, they have no clue about it. And
Mm.
that's how I look at nutrition. I feel like what we are going to talk about is obvious. People pretend to think they know. And there's a lot of people who tell people that they know nutrition. But when you sit down with them long enough, you find out that they really don't know. So let
Mm-hmm.
me so let me be quiet.
You're gonna be quiet now.
Well, I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Because it's like,
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I was listening to a podcast this morning that somebody sent me. It was actually a great podcast. We should talk about it. It was Mark Hyman. They were talking about Ozempic. They had like three people on there having a discussion about Ozempic. But like during the conversation, it's like they were saying like, oh, if I have somebody that is, pre-diabetic or, type 2 diabetic, then we remove all carbs and fruit. And I was like, well, why are you doing that? So like that's like example, like, and that comes with like, me going through that experience myself and realizing like that's not true, that you don't have to remove fruits and what people consider carbs are what we call fast carbs. And when you learn the difference between a fast carb and a slow carb and how you're combining it, then you realize that you don't have to remove or restrain from from foods that you like to eat, but you do have to learn how to combine them and combine them in the right combinations and in the right proportions, portion sizes. um but and that comes with like learning it and doing it. And then then when you hear some people talk, and people respect, and I mean, they do share other great information, but when they say things like that, I'm like, like, you don't know. Right.
right. Well, I mean, if I was listening to that podcast, and you can tell me if I'm missing it or missing something. Most of the time when I listen to podcasts and they're talking nutrition, it's always extremes when it comes to the solution part.
Yeah.
Stop eating carbs,
Hmm.
eat only meat, eat only fat.
Right.
And once someone's bought into that thing that they're selling, and that's part of what they're promoting, then these people who we're listening to, they're compromised
Hmm.
because they're only going to promote what what benefits them. Now, someone could be saying, "Well, Robert, you're doing the same thing," and I would say, "Okay, yeah, that's true." However, if someone brings something to our attention that makes what we're doing and teaching better, I'm always going to go for what makes it better.
Hmm.
So we're not compromised because we're always looking for how can we make it better? How can we help more people?
Right.
Okay. Okay. So I guess going back to what I said earlier, so why wouldn't someone want to know or learn how to eat? If
If I,
learning how to eat is going to help you, why wouldn't you want to learn how to eat?
I don't know. Is anybody in I wonder what, like, is anybody, I can't see from in here, the chat, but can anybody answer that question?
I don't think I don't think anyone's going to answer that question. Now we may get a coach that may go and give their opinion because they're up against it too. But there's a see the value in what we do is learning, right? It's education. So people really don't have value for learning
Yeah,
because if they did, then we would have lines of people wanting to learn how to make fat burning meals.
right.
But instead, some people would just assume they get it. Some people will go out and spend over $100 on a meal and then complain that they don't have any money to pay you, Lisa, to be their coach or to pay me. And they are on borrowed time, right? Because, you know, people start dying and
Mm,
then people get sick.
yeah,
And when you get sick, and if certain parts of your health starts to decline, there is no turning that around. So then there's that whole mindset of I'll get to this later, or maybe I'm gonna learn that later, or you know what, let me lose a couple pounds and then I'm gonna call Robert, or let me get a little bit momentum, or like one of my cousins told me, he says, well, let me, do this crazy diet, and once I get a little jump start, then I'm gonna reach out to you, Robert.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you-
I was thinking about that, like like what you just said too, like about your cousin. Like that was kind of one of the things that popped into mind where people feel like, okay, well, before I go work with this, with this person, I want to be at a certain level, not realizing that, we can help you get to that level. Like um I know, like, a lot of times too when I start working, with like a new client, and I ask them, right, like send me pictures, let me see what you're eating, let me see what you like to eat. I'm not judging you in any way, but people always feel, I think that there's still people that feel judged in the beginning, but then like they're like, I'm like, listen, if you show me exactly what you eat, then I can show you how to make that work for you, how to make that be a fat burning meal instead of that fat storing meal. And then, then they start sharing once they realize that that judgment is off. So I don't know if that plays into it a little bit.
well, that's interesting. So Kimberly Bethel just posted something, and we could have framed this entire talk on what Kimberly just shared. So thank you, Kimberly, for sharing this. She says, as we were talking about people and why people avoid learning or wanting to learn, but she says that because people want what they want to satisfy their taste buds. So I can stop there.
Mhm.
So a big part of our messaging is I'm going to show you how to eat what you want to eat
Right.
and still lose weight. So Kimberly, here's the difference. You're right that people want to eat what they want to satisfy their taste buds and get results. That's what we do as coaches. We teach you how to satisfy your taste buds. But yet, if you want to lose weight, lose weight. If you want to improve health, improve health. So that's our whole point, is that people want to satisfy their taste buds. We have a solution that will give them food that satisfies their taste buds, but then get them healthier. But then Kimberly goes on and she does a great job with this. She says, but most people believe that healthy food is blah, bland, nasty, is not fulfilling. And I would say, I agree.
Mhm.
That's where the education comes from. That's why we're saying we want to teach people. We coach people, and people can learn how to eat.
Yeah.
See, this is where it gets like
So,
if you
like, but that's an interesting one too. Like, so, like, then, like, what is it that most people? So, Kimberly wrote, most people believe that healthy food is blah, bland, nasty. So, like, what is considered healthy food, right? Do you,
well, hey,
like,
I have friends that will tell you that certain parties at certain people's home is going to be blah, bland, and not fulfilling
mhm.
because they don't have any coke, cane.
Oh God.
Seriously. See, when you've experienced certain, categorize that as fun, and that is what you look forward to, right? Say going to buy two uh, double whoppers right now at Burger King.
Mhm.
I remember doing that in high school. I remember looking forward to. I remember being in the car, moving to the music because I'm excited about eating two whoppers. Couldn't wait to get there. Because that was fun. That's exciting. I can't wait.
Right.
So
But then, like, going to, like, a vegan party, you know, would
um,
not be so fun and exciting, at least to me.
yeah, I mean, it may not be, but then again, it could. I've been to some vegan parties, and the food was absolutely amazing.
Amazing, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it depends on, like, what you how you cook it, or how you prepare it, and how you season it, and, I get it.
but
But
it's like
I'm just saying, like, the psychological aspect, like, "Hey, you wanna come to my party, my vegan party tonight?" And I'm just thinking I'm gonna be eating, like, carrots and lettuce and, I don't know,
I
and it
totally get it.
doesn't sound fun.
I remember years ago, I had this girlfriend, right, and she lived with her parents, and I liked the parents, and so they would invite me over for dinner. And first time I went, I remember leaving and going straight to Burger King because I was not satisfied. That was not what I thought was a good dinner.
Mhm.
Now, what I ate was good. It was just little. So I remember just getting in my car and going to Burger King. So then after that, I was like, I'll go to their house, but I'm going to eat before I go
Mhm.
because they didn't eat much. And what I realized is that they ate plenty. I ate too much. And that's just the reality of what the reality is. But it's learning. So I would say to everyone, look, you guys, when you understand how to make a fat burning meal, and we can go into the science of it, you can eat anything that you want to eat as long as you eat it in the right combination and the right amounts. This is what blows my mind when I have clients that go, well, last week my friend brought some cake over. Oh, you know what? We ended up going to this place, and whenever I hear that, Lisa, I just go, I don't get it. And I know that once I get it, I'm gonna become a better coach. And what I
Mhm.
don't get is that, okay, you can still have cake, just eat it in the right proportions, space your meals out, be mindful.
Mhm.
But people just, it's that diet mentality of just gorging and overindulging, and there's no mindfulness when they have those moments.
Yeah, but you know what I think too is that sometimes people think, right? So if you follow and listen to certain people or certain diets, they make, you know, cake and, these pasta, they make anything, like any fast carb, like the enemy, right? Like, not that they realize that, it's a fast carb. Um, but they look at, oh my God, I can't have it. I can't have that cookie, right? Or I can't. like I've had clients say, "Well, I went out to dinner and, I had some pasta and meatballs and, or pasta and chicken. I totally screwed up." And I'm like, "What do you mean you screwed up? Like you had, now you could have, depending on the portion size, because I mean, at least around here, you go out and I mean, there's enough food to feed me for 4 days, like portion size. It's like 4 portions in one in some of these restaurants. So you have to watch your portion size. But the thing is, like, they think that they had that pasta and that pasta is bad. But I'm like, but like you had your protein, you had that meatball with that, or you had that chicken with that. There's your protein and your fast carb. So, now depending on what you had to drink, or, it kind of, you may have gone over, but it's that learning, it's that education that goes with it, right? Like, so when you first start training, that's usually when they start saying that, like, as they're learning, like, "Oh, I was in this situation and I ate this." And I'm like, "Okay, that is actually a fat burning meal, what you ate. I don't know about the portion size there, but it is a fat burning meal."
Okay, so all right, so push back on me for the people, right?
What do you mean?
Because if it's as simple as learning how to eat, right?
Mhm.
Because we teach people how to eat, and I meet these people, and I say, "How was your week?" Ah, it didn't go so well.
Mhm.
Like in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, uh, keep talking. What didn't go well? Well, I just didn't really follow the plan. Okay, so what part of the plan is difficult?
Mhm.
You ever ask someone that question?
I'm sure I have.
Okay, so let's play devil's advocate. So let's say I'm coaching you, and
Mhm.
and you've learned how to make fat burning meals,
Mhm.
and then a week goes by, and we have our coach call, and I say, "So Lisa, how was your week?" And you go, "I didn't do so well." And I go, "Like, what do you mean?" And you proceed to tell me that you didn't make any fat burning meals.
Mm. Well, I haven't run into that, but
Well, yeah, we got to get you coaching more people because trust me, there's a whole bunch of those people out there because I talk to them all the time.
See, but like yeah, and I do, but I have them like text me all of their food. Like every time I eat, my phone will blow up with pictures of food. Um
Okay. Well, I mean,
and
I'm saying the same thing.
yeah,
Yep.
but I think that, like, and I think too, it's like, I don't know, like in my experience, it's like that one or two meals that they count as blowing the whole week. Right? Like, so, like, let's say it's Friday night, like, you're asking me, you're coaching me, "Well, Robert, I blew it." Right? And in my head, it's, I blew it because I went out Friday night with my friends. I had a few glasses of wine, we ate appetizers, I had dinner, and I blew it. And
Okay.
then
So then
I
I
think
say,
that
like, how did you blow it? Explain to me what you did that you would consider blowing it.
okay, so, we started out with um quesos and chips, or and then I had my burrito and my margarita. Maybe I had two, like, that would be blowing it.
So you didn't make fat burning meals.
I didn't make a fat burning meal that night, no.
Okay. And at the same time, you said that you wanted to lose weight
Right.
and you wanted to get healthier.
Yes.
So then would it be mean if I was coaching you and I said, "So Lisa, when are you actually going to do this?"
No, I think I need to hear that.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Like, that's the, because that's the reality. Like, if somebody's coming, right? If somebody's coming to you or I or any of the other coaches for help, the reality is that, I mean, at least for me, it's like, if I want to go somewhere, or like I want to succeed somewhere, then I have to be able to live, like, because the majority of people know too, like, I'm doing something wrong, or like if they know the diet free life methodology, they know when they're going off it, and they know, when they're on it, right? Because it's just very simply laid out.
That's
Um,
good. That's good. Let's stay there for a second. 'Cause
okay.
that was good what you just said. And anybody else who's catching us live, you want to add to this? I would love to hear from you because we're talking about making fat burning meals, which is what we coach people on. And then people, what Lisa just said, they have moments where they just don't even want to think about it. They just want to eat,
Mhm.
and they don't want to make a fat burning meal. Now I can tell you this, Lisa. Anytime I've gone over to a client's house and for a birthday party, um, maybe go out to eat. When I would do my infomercials, we would fly out 20 people and we would all be at the hotel eating dinner. We're filming all day, so there's food around. And I can tell you right now that whenever we would all be together, people from all over the country, because of the culture of where they are, we all ate fat burning meals.
Mhm.
Now, did we have some alcohol and some drinks and laughing and all that? Yes. But aside from that, everybody was making fat burning meals.
Mhm. That's the thing, right? It's like people are making fat burning meals. They just don't know, Like I
Well,
told you.
I'm saying that we were mindful, right?
Right.
Because it's when you're around people that don't care,
Right.
then a lot of times people will take on that mindset
Oh yeah.
and they
You have
eat like they don't care.
right. Absolutely.
But I can tell you this, Lisa, if I'm with you in Boston or wherever we find ourselves, I make fat burning meals.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling. If I didn't follow the diet for life methodology, I
But
mean,
you can have good fat burning meals. Like, what I had,
yeah.
what my fat burning meal was tonight?
What?
I was in the mood for Greek food.
That's
So I had a gyro tonight, and that gyro is a fat burning meal.
that sounds good. I'm having pasta tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had my meat was the lamb, right? That's my protein.
yeah.
My fast carb, which is the pita. I had some tomatoes and onion and cucumbers and lettuce, right? It's my slow carb. And then I had my condiment, my how do you say it? Tzatziki? I don't know is that how you say it? Tzatziki sauce?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was my fat burning meal tonight. So it wasn't, like that's how easy it is. But once you know how to do that.
Right. Once you know. Okay.
Like, and but that's the point too. Like, so some people, right, without knowing what we know, um, like, so like these people who don't know what we know, they may look at that meal as a I fell off the wagon meal. But I know that I had myself a fat burning meal tonight.
Right. Okay. So for those of you who are listening, and if this is new, it may be a little confusing if you don't know how to make a fat burning meal. But I do want to talk a little bit about the science, since I
Mhm.
put science in what it is. Um, but last point before we go into the science, and we'll be done, you guys. You know, we're not going to keep you forever. Let's say 20 more minutes. Um, so let's just say there's a whole bunch of people that watch me post every day, fat burning meals. They watch you post. They watch other coaches post, but they remain overweight and they're not doing anything to improve themselves. So is it that we're not doing a good job at communicating it, or they just have created in their mind what they think is going to be like? And that's what stops them, because every client I've ever had, once I'm working with them and they learn how to make a fat burning meal, they are so excited And they're like, man, I had no idea. That's what I'm used to hearing. Like, wow,
Yeah.
man, why did I wait so long? And that's the marketing part that we have to get better at, so that people are like, okay, well, shit, I want to learn how to make fat burning meals,
Yeah.
because people just remain stuck. They just remain just stuck.
I know, and like that's like the thing. Like I just like I don't know. I don't know how to share it more. Like because it's just so I don't know. Like you watch like I watch like this one's fasting. They're on like a 20-hour fast and they're doing this and that, and I'm just like and people are like, I need to do that. Like why do you want to starve yourself like that when you can eat?
Because people now, I have put a lot of time into one. People expect pain, frustration.
Mm,
They expect something that they got to do that they won't really like in order to get results.
right. There's no gain without the pain.
Right. And so when they meet clients, right? Because I mean, I had many people, they would watch my infomercial and they go, man, she said she had, macaroni and cheese and some pork chops. Man, how you gonna eat some pork chops and macaroni and cheese and lose weight? And I go, it's real.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a combination of what blocks people. Maybe they just have no money. And I get that.
Hmm.
You know, everybody has different seasons. Money could be tight. Okay. That's a pretty good reason not to hire you as a coach at that moment in their life. Okay. But let's say they have money and they could pay you. Why are they not doing something about it? I think it could be they're sleeping with the enemy, Lisa.
Ooh.
I believe that one of the biggest blocks from us being able to teach someone how to make fat burning meals is they live with the wrong person.
Ooh.
Tell me I'm crazy.
Um.
Oh man, they are with the wrong person. I'm telling you, I see this a lot. They're married to or they're living with, and it's like that person's not on board with them when it comes to
Yeah.
nutrition.
Yeah.
And it makes it difficult. And then if they love the person is constantly putting guilt trips on them. Like, okay, so I'll give you an example. I had this client, and tell me if I told you this story before, but this was probably 22 years ago, 22, 23 years ago. I had put an office inside of a gym, right? So people weren't doing the internet the way we are now. And so it was our third office in the county where we live. And this lady would see my clients come in who weren't members of the gym, and you see them losing weight every week. You can see it. People are losing weight if you're watching for long enough, right? So this lady comes over to me. Her name is Debbie, and it was the beginning of December. Actually, it was November. She came up to me, and I scheduled a meeting with her on December 2nd. This is how I remember this like it was yesterday. She came in. She liked what I was saying I could do as her coach. She was a little over 200 pounds. And I remember, I think she was 212 pounds. Yes, 212 pounds. A mom of 4 kids, married. And she was like, I want to do it, but shouldn't I wait until after Christmas? I was like, no, this is the perfect time, because I'm telling you, I'm going to show you how to eat regular, everyday food, eat food through the holidays. You're going to learn how to make fat burning meals. So you're not going to be deprived. This is the best. And most people, they're not going to do anything in December, and they're going to all feel that much worse come January. She goes, okay, let's do it. So she writes me a check. She becomes my client. I get her to go down. She's 5'7". I get her down to 135 pounds, Lisa.
Wow.
If you're 5'7" and you go from 212 to 135, you look completely different.
Different. Yeah. Totally different person.
Oh, And then when she would come in, she was wearing sweatsuits. And I was like, look at you. Well, then she became a coach. She became one of my coaches. And this is how the story ends. One day she comes in and says, hey, do you have a minute? I need to talk to you about something. I said, yeah, what's up? We go into the office and she says, I'm going to have to stop coaching. I go, wow. I thought you really love coaching people. And she goes, I do. And I said, okay. And she goes, but I'm choosing my marriage over wellness.
Wow. Wow.
And she said those exact words. I'm choosing my marriage over wellness. And I was like, well, what does that mean exactly? And she says, well, I've lost this weight. I'm getting all this added attention. I'm okay with it, but my husband's not. Then he started complaining that I never eat ice cream with him anymore when we watch a movie. I never eat the pizza with him and the kids when the pizza gets delivered for certain movies and things we're doing. Every once in a while I'll eat a little bit of pizza, but I really want to eat the way I'm eating. I like the way I feel. I like the way I look. I like the way things have gone.
Mhm.
But it's creating so much of a headache at home. I'm going to choose my marriage. And that
Wow.
was the end. That was the end.
Wow. That's sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my pastor was talking about that. Like, I mean, they were him and his wife were joking about it. But it's like kind of like almost similar. But like so he was sharing how he started, this diet and lost a lot of weight, was feeling good, looking good. And and his wife, she admitted to saying that, she didn't like him. She wanted him with the more weight, it was, he was talking about it being a struggle in their marriage, which was, it was a very interesting conversation that they were having. They were live on YouTube, and they were sharing about these different types of struggles, and that one happened to be about diet and nutrition, within their marriage.
Wow.
Hmm.
Well, you know what? I have a client who I've been coaching for about 6 months, 8 months, and we hit a stall. And then I was talking to her earlier today, and she was telling me how she's. I was like, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in a few weeks." She goes, "Yeah, got a lot going on." I said, "Okay, well, what's going on?" She goes, "Well, I'm getting a divorce," which is sad.
Hmm.
But what I also know is that she's going to lose that weight now.
Yeah.
She's going to lose that, and it's going to come off really easy
Yeah.
because she's going to be happier, even though she's going to have moments of sadness. And she's now forward thinking. She's thinking about, well, hell, when I drop this weight, I got to eventually meet somebody.
Mm.
So I want to look and feel my best whenever that happens.
Yeah, and then hopefully she finds someone who aligns with her new lifestyle.
Well, now she's, if you've lived long enough, you start going, okay. Like I remember dating this woman on paper, everything would be perfect for us to date. Like everything. Except our political views were completely different. Right?
I had one of those. Those are difficult.
And I couldn't be around. I could not listen to her one more second. Yeah, man, that was like. And then one of my buddies goes, "Man, she's hot," and I go, "Okay, well, you should reach out to her." Like, he goes, "What? You're telling me that for political? What? You're gonna walk away from that?" I
That
go,
it's actually a big deal.
"It's a huge
It's
deal."
a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it was grossing me out every time she would talk about anything. I was like, Lord, the only way that relationship could have worked is if she quit talking.
Oh,
And I don't mean to. I'm playing you guys. I'm trying to have some humor here, so I don't want anybody to email me and go, "I can't
yeah.
believe Robert
You're
said."
so. How can you say that?
But yeah,
Yeah, no, it does. It creates, friction.
major friction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same thing can happen with religion.
Oh yeah, any topic.
Yeah,
It's hard to find. I mean, but at the same time though, you have, like I mean, um you're not always going to agree on everything, like but if you can find like there's ways to find like that common ground, and there's ways to, like sometimes it's like um sometimes it's kind of nice when like you have that banter, or whatever, like going back and forth with somebody that maybe it's just me that doesn't agree with everything that you say. You know what I mean? Like that challenge, like because in a way it does challenge you to think, you know, um, outside your current beliefs in a way. But it depends on the person in that
yeah. I mean,
relationship.
you got to be. I mean, kind of be open to it. So, because some people just don't want to know, or they have a hard time believing you can eat a hamburger and lose weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can eat pasta and still lose weight.
You can go to that barbecue. It's summer. You can go to that barbecue and just plenty of options on barbecue.
So many options. And I've introduced people to people that have lost a significant amount of weight. I remember introducing someone to my mom years ago. She came out, and I had a client. She had lost 240 pounds, and I said, "Hey, mom, I want you to meet this lady." So she could tell her that she ate all the foods that she likes to eat. She ate them as fat burning meals.
Mhm.
240 pounds is gone,
Wow.
gone. And when we left and got in the car, my mom had a hard time believing her. I said, Mom, why would this woman lie to you? I mean, I go, because sometimes people have a hard time digesting information that
Yeah.
goes against what they believe they understood for the bulk of their life.
Well, because like you said, right. Well, it's that belief, but it's also that I think like um I don't know how to say it, but it's like if you believe that I think with some people too, like it's hard to believe that like what I had for dinner, right? Like a gyro. I think for some people, because they've struggled with weight and maybe they're eating foods like that. Now, I know that they're not just eating that gyro in that, portion size, like, it's probably like not the right portion size, or there's, some fries with that or a soft drink with that, whatever the case may be. Um, but it's because they haven't learned, how to make that meal work for them. So I think that people struggle with the idea that I can't eat that. I have to give all of that food up because the weight hasn't come off while I'm eating like that. So I need to go to eating, salads and veggies, or, and that only lasts so long. I don't
Yeah.
know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. So for those of you who are going, okay, well, give us more science. Okay, let me give you a little science. There's two things that we look at as far as when we coach people. We're helping people optimize their blood glucose. Glucose means sugar in the blood. And we do that primarily based on how foods are combined. So, for instance, if you ate a white potato, we want to have you eat in a way that the white potato becomes sugar in your blood at a slower rate. And if you eat that with a protein, then the protein is going to help slow down how fast the potato becomes sugar in your blood. What we call a slow carb, like a broccoli, asparagus, collard greens, the list goes on and on. The dietary fiber slows down how fast the potato becomes sugar in the blood. If I add butter to that, which is a fat, that fat will slow down how fast that potato becomes sugar in the blood. So the foods that you're eating together are working together to keep your blood sugar levels from spiking too high, and hopefully you're eating frequently enough where they don't go too low. That's step one. That's the science, and that's clear. Then we look at the hormone insulin, because that is the primary driver for many of the health conditions people have, and it plays a huge role on our ability to lose weight. So that's when you start looking at the quality of foods you eat, right? Because a person could eat at McDonald's every day. You could eat 3 meals a day. And I actually proved this. We did a study for Aetna Insurance. It was only a 1 week study. I ever show you that study?
I don't know if you showed me it, but you told me about it. It's a very
Yeah.
interesting study.
And I've had clients, there's clients, people who were part of that, that are probably catching us live or the replay. But what we did is I had them make fat burning meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They had to go to McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They had to do it for a full week. I gave them a menu of what foods that were fat burning meals, so they didn't have to think. So they had 6, 7 options for breakfast, 6, 7 options for lunch, 6, 7 options for dinner. And every person who participated was a full-blown type 2 diabetic. All of them were on medication. And so we put them into 3 categories. I have a whole slide presentation. I should show you this one day. People, I think, it'll blow their mind, because people ate at McDonald's. I mean, they had Big Macs, they had filet of fish, you know what I mean? Like they ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner at McDonald's. And everybody was on medication. And we put them into 3 categories. They were either in the red, which means that they were not managing their blood sugar well. They were in the yellow, meaning they were kind of, and they were in the green, meaning their blood sugar levels, they got them under control. So out of 24 people in that trial, only 1 was in the green, 3 were in the yellow, and 20 people were in the red. After 36 hours of starting this, every person, all 24, were in the green.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, well, I know it. I believe it. I know it because I know it worked. I know I've seen it happen with myself.
Yeah. And what's interesting, there was 3 physicians on this board that we were sharing the data because they wanted to see, like, could we do something before we did our first trial with diabetics? And I said, yeah. And that's when I got 24 diabetics. I got them right on Facebook. People volunteered. I trained them, coached them all on it. They all did it. Everybody did it, and everybody lost weight, and everybody had better blood sugar.
hmm Right, and that comes too, like with like not having to give up. Like one of my she's my favorite client. Um, but when I first started working with her, she's she's diabetic. She's type 2. And she was saying foods that she would love to be able to eat again. And like one of them was blueberries, and then banana. So when we first started, I said, I'm like, you can have blueberries with that, with your breakfast there. And she's like, no, I can't have blueberries. And then like I was telling her how much blueberries. She's like, oh my god, I cannot. She's like, do you know what that's going to do to my blood sugar? I'm like, yeah. And I was asking her to trust me, right? And it was really hard in the beginning, like even with just blueberries, um, because she was told she couldn't have fruits. And she's eating blueberries, and she was constantly monitoring her glucose, her blood sugar. And she's like, "Mm, I didn't get a spike." And I'm like, I told you, like you can eat that. It's how you're combining it and how you're, and how you're eating that you can have that. It's not, and she is my favorite, because we've had so many conversations like that, like, and then we started adding in fast carbs, and she went to have the banana, like it's just such an amazing feeling, like, y- um when you're working with people who have removed food, right? Because they've gotten to that point where they go to the doctor and now they're a type 2 diabetic, and the doctor's like, well, you can't eat this and that, you have to remove all of these foods. And then you're working with them, and you're building that relationship and that trust with them, and they are, type 2s are monitoring their glucose levels. So they know if what I'm saying, is a lie or not. They can prove me wrong at any moment. And with that, what was interesting is that she did learn that, like, even like certain foods did have a bigger spike, or like at a specific restaurant, like that food, probably something that else that they were putting in that food, right? Or what they were cooking it with, or I don't know. But certain foods did give her more of a spike. So she was able to then, like, hey, I noticed that even though I'm eating it in this combination, I'm still getting that spike. So I'm going to just try to avoid it. She's such an amazing client. I love her.
Mm. Well, there's a whole bunch in what you just said, and you reminded me of something that's happening right now. Um, One of my colleagues, someone who I respect and consider a friend, is getting ready to be, and I'm not going to mention the name of the organization, which kind
Mhm.
of sucks, but it's a huge organization when it comes to health and well-being and diabetes, like one of the tops in the world. So you could use your imagination to come up with what that is. And he's going to be the new head of the board, like the guy.
Mhm.
Very aware of what I do and how the Diet Free Life methodology works. However, he's got high blood pressure. He's dealing with his own diabetes. His partner's got high blood pressure, dealing with his diabetes. I talk to these guys all the time, Lisa. Not one time have they said, "Hey, man, how did I become a client? Hey,
Right.
man, can you share with me a little bit more? Hey, man,
Is that
94%,
crazy?
huh?
It's crazy.
I'm telling you, I'm living this. I'm
I know.
talking to someone 94%. We're able to reverse type 2 diabetes in 94% of the people we work with in 12 months. I mean, not everybody. Some people, it is what it is. You got to just figure it out from there. But
Yeah.
looking at those, that's why numbers don't mean anything. Like when people go, oh, that's interesting. Oh, those good numbers. It means nothing because that's not going to motivate people to do anything different, even though it'll be the easiest thing they could have ever done.
Mm.
So that's why sometimes companies where the decision, I guess, decision makers are narcissists. Like narcissist business people are like narcissist athletes or entertainers. They're amazing when they're performing because they love it. They want to soak it all up and they don't care about anybody but themselves.
Mm.
And in business, a lot of those people do really well because they don't care. You and I, we get stuck because we care.
Care.
We're trying to
We
figure out.
care too much. I'm like always trying. I'm like, even today, I'm like, Mama, what about this? Can we do this? Like, like always trying to figure out ways, like, just to help.
Yeah,
Like, because you see the problem, it's like only getting worse, you know? It's not getting better. And then you see people falling for, like, those quick fix things, and the shots that they're getting, and like all these different things you know without knowing, it's it, I, because it's just so basic. It's just it comes down to food, right? Like, I mean, that's the one thing that we all have in common, right? We all need to eat food. We all love to eat food, right? Well, the majority of us, let's say. And so why not focus around learning how we make that food work for us? I don't know.
because that's where it's broken, right? So every person who believes they know nutrition will continue to believe they know nutrition. So they're not looking to learn because they think they already know.
Mm,
Um, if that was the case, because I've met many professional fitness, nutritionists, dietitians over the years, and I've been in the same building as many of them, and I watched their clients not be successful, and I watch all of our clients be successful. They're not going to ask me, "Hey, man, what are you doing differently?
mm.
Show me what you're doing. I see the success with your clients." They're not going to do that,
Yeah, but that's a shame.
but that's human behavior.
Yeah.
That's
Human behavior has got to change.
yeah, and that's not changing.
I know. Sad.
So yeah, it's an interesting conversation to have, Lisa. I mean, and I appreciate anyone who caught it, listened to the whole thing, even a little bit. It's like, um, yeah, I don't, even my friends and my clients, they have relatives that are diabetic, they have relatives that are on blood pressure meds, they have relatives that are complaining. They watch my clients be successful, and the relative will never ask, not never, let's say 99% will never ask for help.
Yeah.
And guys, you guys are the worst. Let me just be real clear, because not all men, but a hell of a lot of them. Until things are really bad, most men will do nothing. They will do, and I feel for women. Fortunately, I don't have to marry. I'm not in a situation where I will marry a man, so I don't have to put up with all that crap that you guys have to put up with. I mean, and there's some good guys out there, and there's a lot of them that want to be healthy. I see that too, but I'm just saying, I take my hat off, man. Women, it's like you gotta like live with this person who is fighting you tooth and nail. You're just trying to be healthy, and you want to eat and feel better. And the men just don't want to change.
Mm.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's mind blowing to me, and I feel for the ladies out there. I mean, and maybe there's some guys out there feeling that, they're married to someone who doesn't want to change and it makes it difficult. I don't know.
I don't know.
So that's how we're going to end this, you guys. We don't know.
We don't know. That's
because,
it.
because think about it. If we could do a whole PowerPoint, we could show people step by step how to make fat burning meals. And that'll be pretty cool, right? So the people who already are familiar, maybe they're being coached by you or me, or maybe they were coached at one point, they would get it and they would like it as a reminder.
Hmm.
And people who don't know it, they go, "Oh wow, that's interesting." And then when it's over, they will do nothing. They won't call you. They won't schedule a free call, and they will just wake up every day and just kind of make it through the day, not improving their health at all, um, and just letting days go by where whatever's chronically taking place in their body will continue to just chronically take place
Yeah.
until they don't feel good.
We should do that, Robert. We should. You have like you have seen them on this your YouTube channel. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's some old videos there of you and a chalkboard with some fat burning meals on there.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
We,
like that. I've shared them because it's very educational. Um, We should do that.
Okay, so tell me exactly what you would like to do.
Let's show and create some fat burning meals. Like let people see what it is. I don't
Okay.
know if you guys like that idea. Comment below. Let
Okay.
us know.
I
Let
mean,
us know.
I'm willing
You,
to do it. I
you
mean, we
know?
have mini decks. We can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll do it. Let's. You want to do it next week?
Yeah, let's do it.
So next week, for those who caught us, we are going to give you guys a seminar. So I'm gonna send you some fat burning meals, Lisa,
Mhm.
and and because I'm gonna have you walk some people through some, I'm gonna walk some people through some. So we'll have that combination between
Okay.
the two of us, and we'll talk about it, and we'll show people examples from a fine dining facility. We'll show them if you are at Burger King or McDonald's. We'll show them if you're at a friend's house. We'll just give them a whole bunch. So we'll show like maybe, let's say at least 12 fat burning meal examples.
Yeah, I like that. Mama says she likes that idea too.
Okay. Well, that's what we'll do. So
Perfect.
get your notebooks. We'll promote it. We'll do it next week. And then the next week we'll go to Telegram.
All right, sounds like a plan.
So we're not going to Telegram tonight.
All right.
Um, I did put it there, but this was good. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Any last words before we say bye?
No, just thanks everyone for joining us here and, let us know. You know what? Like like Mama, you're there. What else would you guys like, Kimberly? Like what would you like us to talk about? I want to know what people want to hear us talk about too, in a way.
I agree. No, I'm with you. I
You
want to
know,
talk about
let's talk about
whatever they want to talk about.
let's talk about it. Maybe that's what we should maybe we should name the show. Let's talk about it.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about sex, baby. Remember that song?
I do. Salt and pepper.
You used to be out there dancing, didn't you?
Um, yeah, that was like in the 90s. I was in high school.
Yeah, so you were dancing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember. Salt and pepper.
salt and pepper.
Dun, 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 dun. And even that song it was teaching, right? That song, I mean, that song was all about if you're gonna have sex,
Yeah, you gotta
wear
protect yourself.
wear protection.
Yeah. All right.
All right, you guys. So we know what we're doing next week. So Lisa, as the week goes by, and if you come across any good fat burning meals, like when you see the picture, just keep them and then forward them to me, and then I'll put together a nice little presentation.
Okay, perfect. And Mama just said too, I'm thinking about the buzzword cortisol. She keeps seeing commercials. Is that a new, I guess that's a new word that's going out, cortisol?
Yeah, so cortisol. I mean, I think Golo. There's some other programs that talk about cortisol because it's considered the stress hormone.
Well, I had cortisol issues.
Okay, well we can definitely bring that up
Yeah.
because even if you have cortisol issues, right, you still got to eat.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that was probably, well, we can talk about it next week, but that was probably one of my biggest problems when I was having those issues. I wasn't eating and it was dropping my cortisol even more. Like I would wake up completely depleted. I was supposed to be high in the morning. I was depleted already before my day started.
Oh wow, so you did the whole cortisol curve.
Um,
Did
yeah, like
you
it
you
was
do?
really, go ahead.
Was it saliva or did you do blood panel?
I did blood and saliva,
Okay, and saliva, did you do it like three
like
or four
3 or
times?
4 times, yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and so I actually thought that I was like depressed. I'm totally against like depression, no, I won't say totally against it, but like, I had experiences, with people on them. So I'm very weary of them. But I got to a point where, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I was ready for a nap. I was like ready for the day to be done and I couldn't sleep at night. And so like my cortisol was like spiking at night. So I had to, and I thought I was depressed. I'm like, maybe I'm just depressed. I
Now,
had
was that
really,
around the time when you were pre-diabetic?
yes.
Okay, so that makes sense. So next week, if you want, if you bring it up, I'll
Y-
explain why high levels of cortisol tends to show up with some people becoming diabetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's all resolved now, but yeah, it was. That's a good topic, Mama, because that cortisol. That's a good one.
All right. Hey,
All
and
right.
Ruth David is down 30 pounds. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Go, Ruth.
Woohoo.
Go, Ruth. Ruth is in the house. Hey, I don't know if you saw, I did JD Vance, who Trump just made his VP.
Yeah.
He has a movie, and this has nothing to do with Trump, has nothing to do with Biden. I'm just telling you, his name is out there right now. If you have not seen the movie based on his life, it is a great movie.
Really. He is. Isn't he a movie producer?
Nah.
I
JD
think
Vance is,
JD Vance. I thought I saw something today that he has like some like credentials in
well, maybe. I mean, that was his. So he did a best-selling book where he wrote, which I have his book. Um, I bought his book because he's from Ohio. It seemed like it made a lot of sense. I saw him in an interview years ago, and I just bought it. So it's
yeah.
his memoir. Great book, very inspirational. But start with the if you start with the movie, um, what's her name? One of my favorite female actresses, Meryl Streep,
Mm,
plays his grandma in the movie. So the movie really focuses on the grandma because she was a character. I think they said when she died, they found 19 guns in her house. They were all loaded, right? And she ended up raising him.
uh,
Um, but the movie is great. Don't even think politics. It's just a
yeah.
great. It's one of those feel good movies because he had to overcome a lot. Um, and it'll give you a chance. Then you'll get to know who this guy is.
Interesting. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now. You get.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
is.
yep,
Oh, there we go. Perfect timing.
it's a great movie. And the fact that I'm a former Marine, that also made me very close to him. So if you guys have never heard this, um, once a Marine, always a Marine, unless you kill a president. And if JD and I met, you would see very quickly we have a unique bond.
Mm.
It's that Marine thing. I don't have that same bond with a guy in the Army. I don't have that same bond with the Navy and Air Force guy. But it's the title that we earn. So when you're a Marine, you're green. There is no white, there is no black. And it's something that we have. And I mean, my whole life, I've met a lot of people, and I can't tell you how many doors are open because I'm a former Marine.
Yeah.
And
You
JD
guys
Vance was
are
a former.
awesome.
Thank you. Former Marines.
You know,
That's
I
right.
worked with a Marine. His name was Jason, and this is a funny quick story, but so he was a Marine. Then he moved. You know, we were in telecommunications, and I'm at this client in the city, and I'm training them, and we're in this room, and then all of a sudden something like went into the garbage can, and it was a huge rat. Like, I mean, it looked like a little dog. It was
Oh,
huge.
geez.
And so there was only like three of us, four of us ladies, but like we all jumped up on the table, and it was like one of those like trash cans where like, like the lid goes like, like down. So it wouldn't be able to get back up. Anyway, Jason walks in and we're like screaming on the table. We wouldn't get off this table. And Jason walks in. He's like, "What's going on?" And like, there's a rat in that garbage can. And he walks right over to it, like so manly, goes in the garbage can, lifts this thing up by its tail, and like takes it outside. And we're like, "What?"
Oh, he's a good man.
He is a good man. I'll never forget that day. I like couldn't believe
Right.
he did that.
Well, next time we talk, ask me about. I'll tell you a story about rat on the back.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So get ready for that one. And before we go, Kimberly, she says her brother-in-law Charles Murray, who I know Charles Murray, swears by you, Robert. He gives you high praises all the time.
Aw.
Oh, well, that was very sweet. Yeah, I know Charles Murray. We're Facebook friends, and I believe if he still lives in the Ventura County area, Oxnard, that's how I know him. But yeah, I've been you've been doing anything for 30 years, you tend to meet some people. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So Kimberly also says maybe we should do something on how to stay on track regardless of the scenario. And I
Yeah.
think all of that will be part of what we do next week.
Sounds good.
All right. Well,
All right.
appreciate you, Lisa.
All right. Thanks, Robert. Thanks,
All right.
everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you guys. Have a good week. And next Tuesday, same time, we'll be back and we will present and share with you guys exactly what we said we would. And that's fat burning meals. Plenty of examples so that everybody has a really good understanding of how easy it is to eat regular everyday food and not damage your health, but improve it. And if you have weight to lose, you could lose it. All right. Talk to you later, Lisa.
Good night.